Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the inaugural episode of Robbie's Top 5. That's right, everybody. Welcome to Robbie's Top 5. It's the show where I reveal my top 5, whatever, mostly comic books, movies, things like that. Let's get right into it. This is the first episode. My favorite comic book of all time is the Fantastic Four. They have just recently celebrated their triumphant return to ongoing comics over at Marvel, and I'm so excited, couldn't be more excited to talk to you about my personal top 5 favorite Fantastic Four comic books. That's right. We're going to get right into it with number 5, and I'm going to basically be telling you which runs are my favorite because it's hard to pinpoint particular stories and issues, though I could if I had to. But seriously, these are the top 5 favorite runs of mine of the Fantastic Four. Number 5, we come in with Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan. This was the run that took up most of the mid-90s, and it may not be the flashiest or the coolest or the most sophisticated, but it definitely holds a special place in my heart. This was the run that was going on when I was really hardcore getting into this title. I had picked up Fantastic Four before other comic books as well for the first, my first time reading was in the late 80s, in the early 90s, but seriously, the DeFalco Ryan stuff, I loved Paul Ryan's artwork. It was realistic, it was clean, it just had a great texture to it, brilliant backgrounds, a lot going on every single panel. He definitely did Kirby proud with all of the machinery that he would draw in the backgrounds. We recently lost Paul Ryan not too long ago, and it definitely is sad to me. Tom DeFalco doesn't get a lot of credit for his run on Fantastic Four. I think it's exceptional. He definitely plays out all the expectations that you have if you're a Fantastic Four fan. It's a big tribute to what Byrne and Kirby and others had done before. I just loved it. This is the run where it was revealed that Alicia had been replaced by a Skrull, and that's who Johnny Storm had married. It was the one where Johnny Storm loses control of his powers at Empire State University and burns it down. It's the one where Wolverine slashes the Thing's face and it gets all messed up. It's the run where Doctor Doom and Reed die for a while, but then they bring back and introduce this awesome villain named Hyperstorm, who's actually Reed's grandchild from the future. That's so crazy, so cool, big, cosmic, boisterous type thing. Also includes this awesome story where Doctor Doom takes on the power of a Watcher. That was awesome. That culminated in issue 375. This was definitely at the height of the gimmick covers and everything like that. There are die-cut covers in this run. There are flashy foil covers, embossed covers, things like that. So all that stuff and more. Kristoff also joins the team at some point after Reed and Doom disappear. Fantastic stuff. Also, if you're a Scott Lang Ant-Man fan, this is where I was first introduced to the character and to the character of Cassie Lang. Great stuff. Seriously, one of the most solid runs on Fantastic Four. Number 4 is definitely going to have to be Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo. Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo had an amazing run for a long time. Before that, the Fantastic Four just hadn't clicked with readers, just even hadn't clicked with Fantastic Four fans. But Waid and Wieringo come in and definitely redefine who the Fantastic Four are yet again. When I say redefine, what I really mean is that they go back to the classic interpretation of who the Fantastic Four are. They're explorers, they're adventurers. Waid coined the term Imaginauts to describe them. Marvel really kicked off this run really hard with a 9-cent issue, which was kind of a jab at DC's Batman 10-cent issue. But it was a great issue that really kicked off this exceptional run that really involves a lot of cool stuff like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is one of the best villains in fiction, period, and definitely the best Fantastic Four villain. He's got a great story in this one. This is the story where he takes on the flesh armor, gets back into the magic aspect of who he is and what he can do. Really did a great job in here. It gets a little clunky at parts. It's got artwork by Mike Wieringo mostly. We recently lost him not too long ago, a few years ago. That's sad as well. He has a great stylistic, cartoonish type approach that really fit the characters well. Howard Porter came in at some point, other artists to fill in. Mark Waid really nails these characters, really knows these characters. This is right after Valeria had been born, so this is definitely kind of where they introduce really that familiarity between Doom and Valeria. Really great stuff. The Unthinkable story is one of the highlights of this run. Great stuff. Seriously, super fun. Very much a tribute to those crazy, zany, cosmic adventures of Kirby and Lee and things like that. An exceptional run, definitely worth your time. Number 3 is going to be the John Byrne run from the 1980s. John Byrne had come off of a huge hit smash run over on Uncanny X-Men with Chris Claremont, wanted to go do his own thing. He comes in at issue 232 in 1981 to take over the Fantastic Four as both writer and artist, and it was exceptional, and really probably the first time since the Lee and Kirby days that the book really hit the height that it should be at. Fantastic stuff, really interesting stuff. The character of Malice is introduced in this run. Psycho Man is heavily utilized during that run. Great stuff. Diablo stories. The Trial of Galactus story is probably one of the highlights of this run. Great stuff there. The Skrulls basically put Reed Richards on trial for saving Galactus' life because he's completely destroyed and devoured the Skrull throne world, and Reed has to defend Galactus, and it's really neat, really cool stuff. Lots of space things, lots of negative zone. This is when the costumes switch to from the traditional blue into the more black and then the white trim. That's great stuff. Really great artwork. This is also the run where She-Hulk steps in for the Thing after the Thing takes a hiatus. Also the run where initially Susan loses her second child, which eventually she gets through the crazy abilities of Franklin Richards. She gets that character, that child back in the future, and that's what they focus in on that Waid and Waringo run. But really good stuff, solid, especially of its time. It was a very sophisticated style of storytelling, great backgrounds. There's a great Doom issue where it's told completely through Doom's perspective. The cover is Doom ripping through the pages of the comic book, and you can see the first page through it. Really cool stuff, great stuff. There's another issue that I really want to highlight where it's the one where Franklin Richards' powers first awaken. And it's just such a great issue where all of a sudden there's this naked, blonde, shaggy-haired guy that's just destroying and changing and altering reality just out of nowhere. Nobody understands. And it's Franklin. When his powers activate, his first wish is to be a grown-up. What child doesn't want to be a grown-up? So he all of a sudden becomes a grown-up, and he doesn't have the mental capacity to understand what's going on. And he's just changing everything according to his thoughts. It really kind of cements Franklin Richards as the powerhouse that he is. It deals with that. It's got some tragic elements to it. Great exploration, great artwork. I love the John Byrne run so much. I think it ends a little weak, but it starts off strong and it stays strong. And like I'm saying, the Trial of Galactus run is definitely a highlight of the entire duration of Byrne's time on the book. Number 2 is going to be the Jonathan Hickman run. Jonathan Hickman just nailed the Fantastic Four from the very first issue that he came in there. It was about ideas, about moving forward, about progression. This is the run where they introduce the Future Foundation, where he decides that it's to the best of his abilities, the way to change the future is actually to mold and help shape the young minds, the young brilliant minds. So he gets this collection of kids, the super intelligent kids, and he wants them to, you're the next generation. It's led by like Valeria and Franklin. They're in it. Alex from Power Pack. The Wizard's kid, Bentley, he's in there. Great stuff, super fun stuff. This is the run that also had the death of Johnny Storm. You know, spoilers, he got better. But it's a really good run, fantastic stuff. Jonathan Hickman laid out this story. It was one overarching story, and it just kept building up and building up and building up. If you like what Hickman did on books like Avengers, what he's doing on East to West and things like that, you definitely owe it to yourself to check out his Fantastic Four run. After Johnny died, they ended the title and they relaunched it as Future Foundation. Then the Fantastic Four came back, and there were 2 books going along. He had great artists working with him, Steve Epting, Dale Inglesham, Nick Tricata, just to name a few. Fantastic artwork, a great meticulous story that really plays out and has a really solid ending. A fantastic epic, seriously, truly, in the sense of cosmic awesome, that's what this run was. Lots of Kree stuff, Black Panther's in there, really sets up some of the Black Panther stuff that gets dealt with in New Avengers. Great characterizations, great Doom work as well. Doom joins the Future Foundation at one point, and there's some of the absolute best Doctor Doom scenes in comic books are from this run. The relationship between Valeria and Doom, for instance, really gets cemented in this run in a fantastic way, and it's just special. It's just something truly sensational, truly special. Hickman nailed these characters. It was the perfect book for him. The way it just was this one big epic, this one huge story, fantastic stuff. And at number 1, it's gotta be Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Seriously, you can't beat it. It's probably like the 100 and something greatest issues of comic books ever. Fantastic stuff, new ideas. Not just every issue, but every single page. Kirby was a master of this medium. He definitely had the Will Eisner and others that came before really helped comic book storytelling along a sequential art. But Kirby took that stuff out of the page, and his characters leapt at you with a ferociousness that was just crazy. These books are so filled with ideas and Kirbyisms. Everything is there. Kirby, Crackle, giant explosive, life-ending type things. Stan Lee's dialogue is really cheesy and of the time, but it's great. It fits perfectly. I think it's the best work Stan Lee ever did. Some of the best work that Kirby ever did. Ideas galore. This is the run that introduces the Fantastic Four, Black Panther, Galactus, the Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom, brings back Namor as the anti-hero that he becomes. Fantastic stuff. Great stuff. I love it. Seriously, they went for, I think, 103 issues solidly. And without a gap in between. No fill-in artists, nothing like that. Unheard of today, right? Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley beat that run on an Ultimate Spider-Man, but that's how long it took for someone to actually do that. So many ideas, so much world building. The Marvel Universe started in that run of the Fantastic Four. Great stuff. Pretty much everything that you know and love about the Fantastic Four was created and started in that run. So many ideas, so much progression forward, great imagination. It's seriously one of my absolute favorite comic books of all time. Kirby and Lee on the Fantastic Four. So that's my top 5. That's what I think about it. Let me know down below what's your favorite run of the Fantastic Four. And if you want to check out any of these runs, I'll have some convenient links down below. You can check out these different runs on the Fantastic Four and help support PCP at the same time. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is the first of a brand new series. Lots more of these coming up. In fact, next time we'll be talking about top 5 favorite Batman comics. And that's going to be very, very exciting and very cool because Batman's very exciting and very cool. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot more. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us and keep on top 5-ing.